Hi, I'm Sandy with Lightning Tools, and I'm here again with Brett. Hi, Brett.
Hey, how's it going, Sandy?
Pretty good. Happy February.
Yeah, likewise. I don't know what happened to January, but
I don't know either.
we we managed to record every single week in 2021, and we ended up having a few weeks of not recording. We just had a busy January.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, apologies to anybody that listened frequently. So
Yeah.
I think that's just mum, but you know, there we go. So yeah, it's been a really busy month, but why don't we talk about some of the things that we've been doing this month?
Yep. Yeah. Sure.
One of those being Lightning Forms and
Right.
Lightning List Actions.
Right. We
Uh,
released new versions of those just last week.
yeah, so we had a webinar on it. Yeah, rather than doing a demonstration now, this is something that you can't really show very quickly without giving a lot of background as to what type of form we're building and that sort of thing. But just a reminder, if you are new to this, Lightning Forms is our form design tool. It's something that allows you to take a SharePoint list and take the standard forms that you get with inside a SharePoint list. That's the modern panel in SharePoint Online and SharePoint 2019, and you can customize that to provide a logical form to fill out. So this can be with multiple tabs, multiple columns. You can have sub lists, which is an embedded list from within inside the same site. You can have embedded document libraries as well on that form too, and you can create all sorts of different calculations and so on, which go beyond the capabilities of the standard SharePoint list. And when we compare that to something like Power Apps, Power Apps not going to steal any of its thunder. It's a really powerful product, but it does have a steep learning curve and is not that intuitive when you're outside of the SharePoint interface when you're trying to build the forms. And that's one of the things that Lightning Forms gives you, is that environment. You're inside a SharePoint and you're dragging and dropping with inside the form to actually build your solution, and then you can just save your design and it's there to work. So it's a really intuitive form design tool. You can build some forms very quickly. You don't have to be IT to do this. It's something you can do as a site owner, so you can go through and customize the forms that way. So yeah, this is something that's been out for some time in the classic design and also the modern list form design tool. And one of the things that kind of carried over from classic to modern was the action builder and the expression builder, and we've just made that a lot slicker. So, and I know Sandy, you obviously specialize in Power Automate, and I think you'll agree that whilst inside of Lightning Forms and Lightning List Actions, we are not a workflow engine as such. We are basically offering the ability to create a sequence of different actions that can fire. And those actions are, there's all sorts of actions like generate document, which is one of the premium actions, but you can also send an email. You can modify a form value and that type of thing. And for each one inside the older version of the action builder, you could add a condition against each one. And sometimes you had that same condition for multiple actions. So yeah, as a Power Automate fan, how have we sorted that out?
Yeah, so the new Action Builder UI is a lot more sort of Power Automate looking, I guess I would say, where you have a list of actions and you can drag them across onto kind of a design canvas, which is even nicer than Power Automate, to be honest. And then we've added things like conditions and looping. So we didn't have those at all before. So that what you were just referring to, you could drag a condition over to the design canvas, and then on the yes and no sides of that condition, very similarly to Power Automate, then you can drag additional actions to either side of that condition. And then that is like a container for those particular actions. In a similar way, you can add a loop, and so you can iterate through, items in a list or something like that using that looping. And another thing that I think is actually quite an improvement on what Power Automate does is the ability to have variables. So you can do that in Power Automate, but I think it's a lot easier in the new Lightning Forms and List Actions Action Builder, because you name a variable and you can initialize it to some value, but then it's easy to reset that and so on. Like you don't have to initialize it first like you do in Power Automate, and I just find it easier to use. But
Hmm.
it's got a lot of similar things too, where you can comment the action like you can in Power Automate. You can uh, rename the actions to make them make sense in, and be easier to read your sequence and so on. So although it's, as you say, not a full-blown workflow tool, it's got pretty much all the basics and then some.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you've got the ability to create your own custom actions as well,
Mm,
which is another real benefit. So if there is something that you are a developer and you use some code to actually create an action, you could make that action actually be a reusable component inside the action
mm,
builder, which is
mm,
cool. And it
mhm,
doesn't just stop inside Lightning Form. So we've actually got an independent product called Lightning List Actions. And Lightning List Actions is something that you can use those same types of actions within inside a SharePoint list. So you can create your own action buttons on the command bar. And one of the things I like to do with that, if you imagine just a simple sort of approval process or something, and the things that you might do inside of an approval could be updating a field from approved equals no to approved equals yes, but also the date that you approved it and who approved it could be something that is performed as part of an approval action, but also informing maybe the claimant or whoever it is that their claim has been approved or their request has been approved or whatever that form entails. And so one of the things you'd have to do if you created the action button inside the form is open up each item
mm,
one at a time, click the button, save and close, and then go into the next one. So if you had maybe a whole bunch of uh, items that you wanted to approve and you can see the information from the list view itself. So maybe we could see, for example, if there was maybe an expense claim, we could see who the claimant was, what they were claiming for, and what the claim amount was, all inside the view. Then there's no need to actually open up each and every
mm,
item. We could just select multiple items and hit the approve button on the view itself, and it could do all of those actions in sequence. So yeah, saves a user a tremendous amount of time
mhm, mhm.
in doing that. So, and yeah, there's no code required to do that. You
Right.
don't need to write JSON or anything. It's just something that you can configure the action button. So you're setting parameters on what you want that action button to do. So,
And I really like the fact that you can control the visibility of those action buttons too. So, that could just be available only to people who are in like an approvers group or something like that, which is something you can't really do with Power Automate. I mean, you can create Power Automate flows that are available within the command bar of a list as well, or available on selected items, but you don't get that conditional visibility. And also, as much as I love Power Automate, it's easier to create a list action, a lightning list action, than it would be to create a flow to do that same thing.
yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, be a perfect world if everybody could approve their own expense claims, but you definitely don't want that occurring. So yeah, we don't want that approve button to show up to everybody. So you could configure that list action button to be, you are a member of a group. And that could be a SharePoint group or even a Microsoft 365 group or an Azure AD security group. You just need to drop in the group name, and then that button could be either just visible to people that are members of those groups or enabled only for
Mm,
those members of
mhm,
those groups. And just incidentally, you can do that not just in Lightning List Actions for the button, but on any element inside your form as well using Lightning Form. So it could be an entire sublist, which actually came up this week. Somebody
mm,
actually wanted different sublists to show depending on what the user's role was.
mm.
So you could hide entire sublists, you can hide tabs, you could hide individual
All
fields.
sections, yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be based on the group that you're a member of either. You've got full access to all of the user profile properties. So it could be that you're based in a particular location, or you report to a particular person, you're a manager,
Mm,
or even on a predetermined value from the field or a query string variable. There's all sorts of ways of setting the condition to show or hide something.
mhm.
which is really, really powerful. So
Yeah, I've had some customers ask about creating multiple forms, but really as an alternative to that, you can create various sections and then the sections are either visible or not, depending on, as you say, different conditions.
yeah. Yeah, so that whole new Action Builder and Expression Builder interface is now available. You can
Yep.
download this in List Actions and Lightning Forms today.
Hmm.
And you could also make use of the document generator. So you can take what is in a form and generate a Word document from it. And of course, from there, you can share that Word document, you can print it, you can save it as a PDF or
Hmm.
whatever you want to do with it.
Yep.
So,
Yep. And
so
it
it's some
doesn't
cool
even
stuff.
need to be in a form. It could be, because that's also available for Lightning List Actions. So it could just be the items in the SharePoint list, whether or not
Exactly.
you created a form on it.
Exactly right. Yeah, perfect. So there's that that's been going on. And I've been busy working on Collab Days, which,
Mm.
yeah, if you are not familiar with Collab Days is a sister conference of um, the European Collaboration Summit and the North American Collaboration Summit, which take place each year, usually in Germany for the European Collaboration Summit, and usually in Branson, Missouri for the US one. And the idea of Collab Days is to actually offer similar types of sessions with similar speakers, but making it more regional.
Mm.
So it's giving that reach, and it's kind of very similar in concept to a SharePoint Saturday,
Hmm.
but it's on a weekday, and it's also free to attend. It has some sponsors there which make it free to attend, and so on. But yeah, there's just some great material. So we've organised Collab Days, Bletchley Park, and if you don't know,
That sounds so cool.
yeah, if you don't know about Bletchley Park, so Bletchley Park is where the Enigma machines were used to basically crack the codes between Hitler and yeah, but World War II. So it's some fantastic history. Colossus is one of the machines there, which
Mm.
nobody really knew about Colossus. I think until about the 70s or something like
Mm.
that, when the secret was broken.
Mm.
But in order to keep it a secret, the Colossus machine, which is actually the size of maybe half the size of the room I'm in right now, which
Oh,
I can only see a tiny part of it, but I'm in my living room, and so that entire machine was broken up into small components and
oh,
distributed in lots of different places.
oh,
So
I had no idea.
yeah, so you're in this museum and you see this machine working because some people discovered it and they rebuilt it from these components and having to actually manufacture some components as well
Huh.
as replacements to make this thing work. But you can see it working in the museum,
Wow.
and that is where we're hosting Collab Days. So yeah, you can not only learn from people like Eric Schups on enterprise content management and Rodrigo talking about some development best practices and so on inside of Microsoft 365. You know, there's all sorts of really cool content. We've got about 20 speakers coming in and speaking, and there's one keynote speaker which usually we would have a keynote speaker which is still going to provide a keynote on a Microsoft 365 related topic, but we've got Dermot Turing, who is the nephew of Alan
Wow.
Turing, who was the person who broke the code in World War II. So
Wow.
yeah, he is there. Who's going to be talking about his uncle and the legacy of his
Mm.
uncle and so on as well, and allowing some questions and so on to be
Very cool.
asked. I believe that he may bring some of his books along.
Uh,
So he's written a book about his uncle,
mm.
and yeah, he might be doing a book signing as well. So that'd be pretty cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, so all this is free to attend, and it's happening on the 23rd of February. Hence, we've been busy. So yeah, that I'm really excited for.
Mm.
I think it'd be a fantastic event. So
Hmm.
yeah,
I
uh,
wish I could go.
I know you do. But yeah, go to clubdays.org, and on there you're going to see the link to Bletchley Park, and you can sign up for free and make sure you come because it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yep. I'll put a link in the description of this video as well. Mm.
Sounds great. Cool.
Yeah.
And so we've got a new social squared coming as well. What are
Hmm.
you?
Also very exciting.
Yeah, I don't want to spill too many beans on it, but
Right.
maybe we can give a few hints as to what's coming this month.
Yeah, sure. Well, based on lots of customer feedback, that's, I mean, that's how we improve all of our products. But I would say maybe social squared more than most, where we've done some redesigns on the UI, on the user interface of social squared. So you'll see it looks kind of cleaner and more modern, trying to be more in keeping with the SharePoint modern pages, even though it looked modern at the time. SharePoint keeps moving on, and so we need to as well. So things like just having not so much in the way of cluttered icons, but you can, decide how you want to display that. Having things be not so much just links, but sort of more buttony, more obvious of what users are supposed to do. Some things like that. So, but yeah, not too many beans to spill quite yet.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to maybe demoing that next week,
yes,
so we
that'd
can
be great.
actually see what is new inside that product, and
Hmm.
yeah, gather any feedback that anybody might have as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that'd be cool.
Yep. All
Excellent.
right.
Well, looking forward to that. And
Yep.
Sandy, good to see you in your new place.
Oh yes, thank you. Yeah, yeah. I've moved to Florida.
Fantastic. Actually, I'm sat in my living room because it's pretty cold in my. It's cold and dark in my
Uh,
conservatory because I'm now at
uh,
home,
uh-huh.
not in the office. And yeah, these three mirrors behind me, I bought these back from Florida. I bought
Oh,
these in Florida and managed to get them back to England
wow,
without breaking
that's
them.
impressive.
That was going to be a lot of bad luck if these three mirrors broke. So there we go. All right. Well, good to see you again,
All
and
right.
speak to you
Yeah. All right. Bye, Brett.
soon. Bye.